By now, you've probably heard of this game already. May it be because of the intriguing story that it has, or because of the drama associated with less approvable themes in the game. The Coffin of Andy and Leyley has certainly risen in popularity after the launching of the second episode and the early release of the game on October 13th. The game itself narrates the story of the Grave siblings, a brother and sister that were placed in a quarantine and under lockdown for 3 months, and that undergo multiple events throughout the 2 episodes of the game, from which the siblings either grow fonder of their relationship or completely destroy any trust they have in one another. Inside of the game, the sibling dynamic is clear-cut. It is demonstrated to us through the events of the game to be one that is mutually toxic and a means to escape blame and/or assert control. Andrew is the older brother, and as such plays the role of the level-headed, legally correct voice in the relationship, ever since the events that transpired in that warehouse to Andrew grew up to be a husk that depends on Ashley as a means to cope with his own wrongdoings. She is effectively an escapade for his own thoughts, and is effectively one of, if not the only reason Andrew hasn't ended his life after the quarantine started. His sheer dependence on Ashley is something he is acutely aware of, but refuses to change, as he, even though he does not admit it on his own, prefers to depend on her the way he currently does, lest his own mind becomes a swamp of negative ideas worse than it already is. We are shown that this attribute of not acknowledging his fair share of blame is not exclusive to Ashley, but has become a way for him to cope in general. Ashley, on the other hand, is the voice of chaos. She embodies a chaotic sociopathic being that refuses to acknowledge any limits or consequences to her actions and is obsessive over her control of the relation she has. Specifically, she is obsessive over Andrew's demeanor towards anyone but her. She is the manipulative shadow over the relation and is the one that pulls the strings. Or at least that's what she believes herself. In actuality, the relationship with her brother has grown increasingly unstable, with the actions during episode 1 breaking apart the illusion Ashley had of control. This would come to fuel her own obsessiveness over the relation, growing increasingly paranoid of Andrew's decisions and autonomy from her, and growing increasingly manipulative with her own brother. These traits attributed to Andrew and Ashley are implied to have come from their early stages of the relationship, when both of them were kids. Their Andy and Leyley personas are all these traits enhanced and are referred to in the game multiple times as if these personalities were different from those of Ashley and Andrew. It is then implied that both Ashley and Andrew suffer from a personality split, with Ashley suffering the most from this, refusing to acknowledge that Andrew is Andy and associating the latter with a version of Andrew she was more fonder of and that was easily persuaded and controlled by her. Leyley, on the other hand, is Ashley's personality tenfold, the apogee of chaos in their dynamic that is the responsible for bringing about an era of problems to Andrew's life, chaining him to her and shattering Andrew's mind in the process. She is the personality that Ashley utilizes to take control or manipulate Andrew into doing what she wants, and is the persona Andrew utilizes to excuse himself from taking any blame for his actions. With this, we are introduced to the sibling dynamic and their codependence, which is explored throughout the game. This is to say that the game excels at displaying such complex mechanism of a relation in a manner that makes the player care, which is incredible considering the average length of a walkthrough is around 3 hours. But now we need to address the allegations. Surprise! Who would have guessed? A 2023 horror game that explores incest?
Oh god, what is this?
Outrageous, said Twitter, and so they set on their journey to demolish the reputation of the game. And there you have Twitter, sending out tweets with 2 million views, which captivate the audience's interest. To the shock of Twitter, the game became far more popular overnight.
What the hell?
And those wretched Steam metrics ain't helping, cause the fans of this game won't stop boasting about them. So, naturally, being in the land of the free, Twitter attacked with everything. Memes, death threats, morally correct opinions. Yet, despite their best efforts, the game prevailed.
Consider the following 98 pers total positive review on the game.
That Twitter post was pretty much the precursor to the major part of the backlash from the platform, though we do have to mention the subreddit's role in this, where, for the most part, during this situation, was pretty much filled to the brim with that kind of porn, and it served as a deterrent for those exploring the community.
Oh, hell no.
To be honest, the situation died down pretty quick, but it does show how Twitter operates around more controversial topics, and it also shows that 80% of the people there didn't bother playing the game. And I mean, it was also pretty funny to actually witness.
On God, do not play this game.
The game itself does not depend on the incest and is merely an alternate route to follow if you want to, and we're still gonna have to wait out till episode 3 to actually get that situation to fully be displayed to us, because as of the moment, the actual scene that involved that topic is merely a vision the sister has. Though we do need to point out that Ashley does tend to mess around with potential sexual interactions, but at the end of the day, it is best for games to explore different topics, and everyone's opinion should be respected unless it harms other people. Nevertheless, The Coffin of Andy and Leyley has a great story and charismatic characters, with intriguing plots, so if you haven't checked the game out, I'd recommend you to do so. Plus, Nemlei has made its fair share with the game already, so we can best expect good quality for episode 3.